And here in East Texas, a Texas appeals court is delaying what would have been the first execution scheduled in the state this year. Blaine Milam from Rusk was convicted of capital murder for the death of a 13-month-old in December of 2008. You can see his picture here. Milan was set for lethal injection for killing the toddler and what he and his girlfriend say was part of an exorcism. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted
Amora Bain Carson entered the world on the 12th of November 2007, but the following year, in the cold of December, the 13-month-old toddler would be brutally tortured, succumbing to her injuries and passing away. This all started when Amora's mother, Jesseca Carson, met Blaine Milan in high school when they were both 18. The two hit it off and quickly got engaged. Jesseca and her 13-month-old baby, Amora, would then move in with Blaine in his apartment in Longview, Texas. It was said that Blaine loved Amora as his very own. Milam was accused of severe sexual assault against an 11-year-old girl just shortly before meeting Carson. He had broken into the girl's house and put pornographic pictures and provocative notes about what the two of them could do together in her dresser drawer. Despite the fact that he never touched her, he was listed as a sex offender and given a 180-day jail sentence starting in August 2008. After serving 48 days of his sentence, he was granted a work release and never returned. Milan was never again detained as a result of administrative mistakes, resulting in being sent back to prison to finish his term. He was ordered to stay away from places where children were gathered for 200 feet as part of his probation. Blaine should have not been living with the child at the time. Jesseca was indeed aware of this as she attended a hearing with Blaine that outlined the terms of his probation. Nevertheless, she let her toddler live with this man. It was spring of 2008, and the couple had settled into their apartment quite well. Jesseca, whose father had passed away caused by suicide when she was just 10 and discovered his body, convinced her partner Blaine to purchase an Ouija board so she can communicate with her dead father. They purchased the board, and Jesseca claimed that she successfully communicated with her father because she was receiving answers from things her father would only know. The two quickly became obsessed with communicating with Jessica's dead father and would spend hours doing this. This stopped when Jesseca felt that Blaine was possessed by the devil and that the apartment they were living in was also possessed. Soon, the couple relocated, moving into Blaine's mother's house in Tatum, Texas, a small town located in Rusk County. The landlord of the apartment the couple resided in admitted that the couple left the apartment trashed. There was leftover food in the fridge, amphetamines was found in the light bulb, and a knife was found in the toilet tank. After their move, the two were still strongly convinced that Blaine along with Amora were possessed. They had to find a solution to this possession and believed that the only way to rid baby Amora of the demon was to perform an exorcism. On the 2nd of December 2008, Jesseca and Blaine, who still believed that young Amora was possessed, decided to carry out their faithful exorcism. It is unsure whether the couple decided to sell some tools to the pawn shop before or after attempting to exorcise the toddler. Some sources say that the couple went out to sell some tools in order to hire a priest for the exorcism, while others state that they went out after performing the exorcism themselves. Proceeding with the latter, the couple, who had been high on amphetamines, used a hammer to beat the demon out of young Amora. After some time, the scene was made to look like another person had beaten the toddler, as fake blood was planted throughout the entire home. The two drove to a pawn shop to sell some tools for money to either hire a priest, or some sources indicate that they wanted the money to get away. They ended up going to a gas station and purchasing cigarettes. Baby Amora was left at the home to die in a hole in the floor of the bathroom. A call was made to authorities at 10:37 a.m. by Blaine, and officers arrived at the residence. Jesseca and Blaine told the police that they went for a walk looking for property they were planning on moving a trailer to. They claimed they were gone for about an hour to an hour and a half when they came home to Amora, whose body was found injured but alive. Blaine would later change this narrative, saying that Amora was dead when they arrived. The couple looked like grieving parents, according to officers. Blaine gave the officers permission to search their home, if they chose to do so, and even listed out potential suspects. Authorities obtained a search warrant for the property, and in the home, they found blood spatter, bloody sheets, baby clothes, diapers, wipes, a tube of Astroglide lubricant, and a pair of jeans with bloodstains on the lap. All items tested positive for Amora's DNA. During the investigation, Blaine's aunt reported a conversation that Blaine had with his sister. She told authorities that Blaine told his sister to find a way to get back to the home to collect some evidence that was underneath it. The officers crawled under the mobile home, where they found a pipe wrench in a plastic bag that had been shoved into the hole in the bathroom floor. Analysis would later reveal remnants of the lubricant on the pipe wrench, Amora's diaper, as well as the wipes that were found in the home. Amora's cause of death was ruled as homicidal violence. She suffered blunt force trauma and possible strangulation. Her injuries included facial abrasions, bruises that were so severe that it looked as if there was one big bruise. 24 human bite marks were found on the body, scrapes and abrasions from head to toe, bleeding underneath the scalp, fractures to the back of the skull, brain swelling, bleeding in the eyes and optic nerve, spiral fractures to the right arm and leg consistent with the twisting of those limbs, 18 rib fractures, a tear to the liver. There was extensive injury to the genitals, and the underside of her tongue was lacerated from blunt force trauma. The medical examiner stated that those injuries were the worst he's ever seen. It was impossible to tell where each injury started and which one caused her death. It was confirmed that one of the bite marks were made by Jesseca, and 8 of them were made by Blaine. Jesseca and Blaine were both indicted on capital murder. In Jessica's trial, she was found guilty and was sentenced to life without parole, and Blaine was sentenced to death. His execution was delayed twice, and he remains on death row, though no new date has been set.